staffing, and staffing, 1, 2, and 3. I think everybody's experiencing that, finding the right people and putting them in the right place is really everything for a business. In my mind, there'll always be shifts, really in all industries, but especially in the landscape industry from time to time. But having the right people is where it starts, and that builds your bench and your foundation for being able to deal with those shifts or challenges in the industry. Things will change. Challenges will change. I'm nearing 20 years in the industry, landscape specifically, and there's been different challenges pretty much every year, and there's been common themes to them, and there's been some real crazy years, like the spring of 2020 was obviously a little crazy, not being able to go out and perform landscape in certain areas of the country when it was go time in the spring. So I think the challenges will ebb and flow, and they'll change, but finding the right people and getting them in the right place is really everything. I'd say the biggest change in strategy is really rhythm or cadence with which we attack these issues. This isn't, I remember when I first started, right? We started staffing up in March and for the landscape industry, and then by May, we had our team put together, and I think back and go, boy, those were the days when you could do that. But there's not really a start to staffing your team or building your team, and then a stop point. I think there's a continuous rhythm to this, and imagine there'll always be a continuous and cyclical effort to make sure that your teams are staffed. Always have people that are they're going to leave your business. They might have a child and decide it's this isn't the right fit for them. They might decide to change what their dream is inside their life, which is a great thing for them to realize, right? And then go on a different path that takes them outside your organization. You might have a culture that has culture issues, and people decide to leave, which is a whole other issue. But I think the team as a whole. This is let's put this on HR's plate and let them deal with it while we go out and do work. It's all the functions, HR, sales, operations, right on down the path that really need to take hold of this, because this is your team, right? This is your team you're building to provide services to a customer and really grow the company and achieve the vision. So it's got to be a daily and weekly cadence and talking about how we're going to do it. And we have to realize the market is dynamic and not static. It's always changing, and there'll always be different challenges, and some challenges will get bigger and some will lessen over time. But I think the answer to this question is always changing. The great things about principles in my mind are they don't change in specific economic climates, or whether we're seeing high versus low inflation. People, culture, vision, in my mind, are principles and priorities for us. You need to be present with your team as a leader, and you need to let them know that you may not have all the answers. Many of us don't, right? But together we can figure them out, and we can work through this. And it's a challenge, and that challenge will change, and that challenge will morph and develop, and things will always be different. But I think as a team, we can certainly work through those, holistically. Big question, right? I mean, you guys at Attentive are really part of that as well. Changing how people go to market, changing sales process, changing time to market, right? So. Obviously, that's been something Continuum has leveraged to add velocity to our sales process. But on a bigger picture, I'm excited about autonomous mowing. I think there's more sustainable processes and equipment. There's a lot of wherever there becomes a large priority as a whole, money will flow to that, and then money will fund that technology that circles back around. So I think there's a lot of fun stuff that is probably going to happen. Labor, like we talked about before, staffing and hiring team members, especially for field positions, is very difficult. So, I think technology will start to play into that and start to begin to solve some of those problems, change things. We'll need to think differently, and education and adding to one skill set, it's not a one and done type of process anymore. You don't go to school or you don't learn how to utilize a mower and you're just done. If you want to stay relevant, you have to grow and evolve consistently. You're just going to have to. So, sometimes our crews that are out there, maybe they go from, actually operating the equipment. Maybe it just look different. Maybe they're still operating the equipment, but maybe it's from a remote control, or maybe it's from a maintenance perspective, or, maybe they can spend more time on the details that we all know get missed on sites, while, we have autonomous mowers striping up a field. It'll probably be more of an efficient approach and allow people to take the time to grow into different skill sets and kind of broaden their abilities, which is a positive thing in my mind.